Imagine sitting at a table surrounded by 30 people who raised you, loved you, or at least pretended to. They're all smiling, clapping, toasting your older brother because your parents just publicly announced he's getting every single thing you were supposed to inherit. 8 rental properties worth millions. And you get nothing. They're literally cheering that you lost. I didn't move, didn't clap, didn't even blink. I just looked my father dead in the eye and said, "Calm as you like. Dad, you forgot one thing, didn't you?" His fork froze halfway to his mouth. My brother's champagne glass stopped an inch from his lips. The entire room went so quiet you could hear the AC humming. And in that single heartbeat, every single person knew their perfect little plan was about to explode. Before I show you exactly what my dad forgot, and how the next 10 minutes turned my family's victory party into the most satisfying funeral for their greed you'll ever hear, drop a comment right now and tell me the city you're watching from. I need to know I'm not the only one who's had to sit quietly while the people who are supposed to love you the most cheered for your downfall. And smash that like button if you've ever fantasized about the moment they finally realize they messed with the wrong person. 'Cause what happened next? They regretted every single clap. If you've ever been betrayed by family, overlooked, counted out, and then got that ice-cold revenge that tasted like pure justice, this story is going to hit you right in the soul. My name is Tegan Whitaker, and on paper we looked like the perfect Florida family. Big white house in South Tampa, boats in the driveway, Christmas cards with the 4 of us in matching linen outfits. But behind those smiling photos was a hierarchy carved in stone. And at the top of that hierarchy sat my older brother, Ryan. From the day he was born, Ryan was the sun. Everyone else, planets lucky to get a little light. Little league coaches fawned over him. Teachers forgave his homework because Ryan's got practice. High school quarterback, prom king, the golden child who stayed local and helped manage Grandma Margaret's 8 rental properties the second he graduated. Every family barbecue ended the same way. Uncle slapping his back, cousins laughing at his stories, mom and dad glowing like he hung the moon. And me, I was the shadow. Teachers mixed our names up until Ryan corrected them with that easy laugh. My birthdays. His cake got cut first. His gifts opened loudest. When I begged for math tutoring in middle school, Mom sighed and said money was tight because Ryan needed new cleats. When I got a full-ride scholarship to the University of Georgia, Dad's only reaction was, "Guess someone has to leave Florida." So at 22 I did. Packed my beat-up Civic and drove north on I-75 until Tampa was just a memory in the rearview mirror. Atlanta gave me oxygen for the first time. No one comparing me to Ryan. No one measuring my worth against his spotlight. I started as a junior analyst at a commercial real estate firm, crunching numbers on apartment complexes, learning exactly how ownership really works when someone knows what they're doing. The only person who ever saw me clearly was my grandmother, Margaret. Every few months I'd drive the 9 hours home just to sit on her screened porch overlooking the bay. She'd twist her silver hair up with a pencil, pour sweet tea so strong it could wake the dead, and listen to me talk about cap rates and lease abstracts like I was reciting poetry. She never once called me the smart one like the relatives did when they were trying to be nice. She just looked at me, really looked, and said, "Tegan, you see things clearly. That's rarer than money." Then one Tuesday evening 3 years before she died, everything changed. Grandma called and said, "Come down this weekend. I need your eyes on something." No explanation. When I pulled into her driveway in Old Northeast St. Pete, she was already waiting on the porch with 2 thick folders and coffee strong enough to strip paint. She didn't even say hello. She slid the first folder across the table and told me to read. Bank statements, rental income logs, expense reports for all 8 properties. Over the previous 18 months, more than $400,000 in rent money had vanished. Maintenance, emergency repairs, management fees, receipts missing or photocopied so many times they were illegible. The handwriting on the few that existed. Ryan's. She watched me flip the pages, her mouth a thin, hard line. "I gave him access because he swore he wanted to learn the business," she said. Turns out he learned how to bleed it instead. I asked the obvious question. Why not confront him? She laughed this bitter, tired sound and said, because your parents will defend him. Boys will be boys. He'll cry. They'll promise he'll pay it back someday. By the time someday comes, there'll be nothing left. Then she opened the second folder. Inside were draft documents. A revocable living trust naming her trustee for life, and upon her death me as sole successor trustee and beneficiary of every single rental property. Plus 8 quitclaim deeds ready to transfer title immediately. All it needed was my signature and a notary. She explained it like she was reading the weather. Living trust equals no probate, no public filing until she's gone. Quitclaim deeds equals instant, quiet, iron-clad transfer. Once recorded at the county, legally mine. Forever. I asked the question that was burning in my throat. Why me? She looked out at the bay, sunset bleeding orange across the water and said, because you understand what these houses actually are. 32 families who pay rent on time so their kids don't have to change schools. You won't gamble that away on boats, parties, or whatever new toy catches Ryan's eye this month. I tried to protest. Ryan would lose his mind. She cut me off. That's the entire point, Tegan. He doesn't get to find out until it's too late to undo. We spent the whole weekend going over every detail. She made me initial every page so there could never be a claim of coercion. Monday morning the notary arrived at 9 o'clock sharp. We signed in the dining room while the ceiling fan clicked overhead. Grandma's hand didn't shake once. When the notary left, she poured us both a finger of bourbon, at 10 a.m., clinked her glass against mine and said, now it's done. And now, we shut up about it. She made me swear on her parents' graves I would never breathe a word until someone tried to take what was no longer theirs to give. That night we burned the extra copies in her outdoor fireplace and watched the smoke curl up into the palms. For the next 2.5 years, nothing looked different on the surface. Ryan kept collecting rent checks and bragging. Mom and Dad kept calling him responsible. I kept driving down from Atlanta every couple months, quietly fixing what actually needed fixing. And nobody ever checked the county records. Because nobody ever thought they had to. Grandma's health faded fast after that. But every visit she asked the same question. Still our secret? I'd answer, yes, ma'am. It became our little ritual. The last time I saw her alive, she grabbed my hand so hard her ring cut into my skin. She whispered, remember, paper beats promises every single time. Then she smiled like someone who just won a bet no one else knew was running. 7 months ago, right after the funeral, Mom called. Stay one more day, sweetheart. We need to talk about the properties. I knew what was coming. Next afternoon the dining room looked like a corporate takeover. Dad at the head of the table, sleeves rolled up, legal pad ready. Ryan lounging to his right like he already owned the world. Mom nervously refilling coffee no one was drinking. Dad pushes a document across the table. Just a simple waiver, Tegan. So there's no confusion down the road. Sign that you're not expecting any of the rentals. 8 addresses listed neatly. Mom jumps in with the sweet voice. It just keeps things peaceful, honey. Ryan smirking, spinning a pen. Yeah, nobody wants lawyers. Sign it and we're good. I slid the paper back. I'm not signing anything. You could have heard a pin drop. Dad's eyebrows shot up. Mom's hand froze on the coffee pot. Dad recovers first. Come on, don't be difficult. Mom tries tears. Grandma would hate to see us fighting. Ryan drops the act. You live in Atlanta. You don't even want them. I looked Ryan dead in the eye and said, because they're not yours to give. Dad slammed the table so hard the cups rattled. You're acting like we're stealing from you. I stood up, grabbed my keys. No. I'm acting like someone who knows exactly what's hers. As I walked out I heard Ryan hiss. Selfish. Typical. The screen door slammed behind me. That was the last time I stepped foot in that house. Until the invitation came. 2 weeks before the big reveal, a thick cream envelope arrived. Gold border, raised lettering. A celebration of Margaret Whittaker's legacy. Inside, Mom's perfect cursive. Please come honor Grandma's wishes. The group chat exploded. Ryan posting selfies in front of the rentals. Big things coming for the Whittaker portfolio fire. Brooke commenting heart emojis and, so proud of my future husband. Someone even joked, Tegan better show up this time, face with tears of joy. I didn't reply. I cleared my weekend, packed the rolling suitcase I use for business trips, and filled it with 3 color-coded folders, every recorded deed, the entire trust scanned on a flash drive. Friday at dawn I pointed south on I-75 for the drive I could now do blindfolded. Every mile marker felt heavier. By the time I crossed the Howard Franklin Bridge, the bay glittering like it was in on the secret, my stomach had settled into that ice-cold calm I get before closing a multi-million-dollar deal. I wasn't nervous anymore. I was ready. I pulled into the old neighborhood just after noon on Saturday. Cars lined the street 3 deep. White tents in the backyard. Caterers unloading shrimp and crab cakes. A bartender setting up under the oak tree. This wasn't a meeting. This was a coronation. Mom spotted me and hurried over in heels and pearls, arms open like nothing had happened. Dad clapped my shoulder with that fake heartiness. Ryan stood on the porch with Brooke glued to his side, both holding mimosas. He raised his glass in a mocking toast. Look who decided to grace us with her presence. Brooke giggled. I wheeled my suitcase straight through the living room and parked it beside the couch. Right in the middle of everything. Mom's smile faltered. Dad cleared his throat. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Inside smelled like lemon polish and pure ambition. Framed photos of Ryan shaking hands with tenants. A blown-up tax map with all 8 properties circled in red. Glossy brochures. The Whittaker family rentals, a new era. Brooke floated past in a sundress, diamond ring flashing. 8 steady income streams before we even say I do. I stood by the window, suitcase handle still in my grip, counting heads. 32 people. Perfect. Enough witnesses that no one could ever claim they didn't see what was coming. The living room was packed. Champagne flowing. Ryan finally stands up, flute raised high, voice carrying like he'd rehearsed for weeks. I just want to thank Mom and Dad for trusting me with Grandma Margaret's legacy. As of today, all 8 rental properties are officially under my name. The family tradition continues. Stronger than ever. Glasses lifted. Ears. Whistles. Someone shouted to Ryan. Cousins started clapping. The sound swelled until it bounced off the walls. I waited until it peaked, then rolled the suitcase forward. Wheels clicking across the hardwood like gunshots. Every head turned. The clapping died mid-air. I stopped beside the coffee table, clicked the latches, flipped the lid. 30 pairs of eyes locked on the neat stacks inside. Dad found his voice first. Tegan, what is this? I didn't answer yet. I pulled out the first quitclaim deed, held it up so the notary seal caught the light, and laid it face up on the table. Then the second, third, late, each bearing Grandma Margaret's bold signature and the raised seal of the county clerk, dated 3 years ago. Then the revocable living trust, thick and bound, successor trustee section highlighted in calm yellow. I placed it on top like a period at the end of a sentence. Only then did I look at my father. You really forgot this existed, didn't you? The color drained from his face so fast I thought he'd pass out. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Ryan stared at the papers like they were written in Aramaic. The family attorney, Mr. Hargrove, stepped forward, adjusted his glasses, and started flipping pages. His fingers moved faster and faster as he cross-checked the deeds against the county stamps. He looked up slowly. These are recorded, he said, voice flat. All of them. 3 years ago. Tegan is the legal owner of record. There is no probate interest left to distribute. You could hear ice melting in forgotten glasses. Ryan lunged for the documents. That's impossible. Grandma was sick. Mr. Hargrove didn't let go. The handwriting matches. The notary is licensed. These are binding. I spoke for the first time, calm and clear. Grandma knew exactly what she was doing. She made sure the houses went to someone who would protect the tenants, not bleed them dry. Dad tried to stand, sat back down hard. She never told us. No, I said. She didn't. Ryan's face twisted purple. You hid this the whole time. I looked him dead in the eye. Grandma asked me to wait until someone tried to take what she'd already given away. Today seemed like the day. Mr. Hargrove closed the trust with a soft thud that sounded like a coffin lid. Legally, the matter is settled. The properties belong to Tegan. End of discussion. Mom whispered. How could you do this to your own brother? I met her eyes. I didn't do anything. Grandma did. I'm just the one following through. Ryan slammed his glass down so hard the stem snapped. Champagne pooled across the table, soaking one of the deeds. I didn't flinch. You think you've won, he spat. I didn't come here to win, I said. I came to make sure her wishes were respected. Brooke's champagne flute slipped from her hand and shattered on the hardwood. Champagne sprayed across ankles and designer shoes. She didn't bend to pick up the pieces. She just stared at me, then at Ryan, then at the papers. Without a single word, she grabbed her purse, pushed past two cousins, and walked straight out the front door. The screen door slammed. No one went after her. From the hallway, my middle brother Dylan, the quiet one who spent his whole life blending into walls, stepped forward. Every head swiveled. She's telling the truth, he said. I was there the day Grandma signed. She asked me to drive her to the notary because she didn't want Mom or Dad knowing. I waited in the car. She came out smiling. Ryan spun toward him. You knew. Dylan met his glare. Some promises matter more than keeping the peace. Mom crumpled onto the couch, sobbing into a throw pillow. Dad slid off his chair onto his knees on the rug, reaching for me like I was the last solid thing in the room. Tegan, honey, please. We didn't know. We can fix this. We'll sell the boats, take second mortgages. Just don't take it all away from your brother. Real tears streamed down his face. Mom reached for my hand, mascara streaking. You're doing so well on your own. We thought Ryan needed it more. I pulled my hand back. This was Grandma's decision, not mine. Ryan lunged at me again. Dylan stepped between us, palm on Ryan's chest. Back off. The room was frozen. Phones half raised. Caterers wide-eyed in the doorway. I closed the suitcase, latched it, set the handle upright. Mr. Hargrove cleared his throat. I'll prepare notices to all tenants and financial institutions first thing Monday. Ownership transfer is already complete. Ryan made a sound like a dying animal. I picked up my keys and walked out. Didn't look back. 3 months later the dust settled. But nothing was the same. Ryan's name vanished from every lease, every bank account, every vendor contract. Tenants got new payment instructions with my name at the top. Most never even noticed. Repairs got done faster. No more fake invoices. Then the IRS notice arrived. Years of writing off personal vacations, new trucks, parties as business expenses, finally caught up. They froze what little Ryan had left and slapped a 6-figure lien on everything in his name. He lawyered up with money he didn't have. And lost. He's still on a payment plan that'll follow him for decades. Mom and Dad sold the big house 30 days later. Boats first. Jet skis. Mom's jewelry. They downsized to a 2-bedroom condo near Carrollwood with a charming view of a parking lot. Dad took early retirement after the stress triggered heart palpitations. Mom works part-time at a boutique to cover groceries. They don't host holidays anymore. Brooke mailed the ring back. No note. Ryan lives in a studio downtown and sells used cars on Dale Mabry. Sometimes he drives past the rentals, slows down, then speeds off when he sees my management sign in the yard. Dylan texts me every couple weeks. Short check-ins. He's the only one I answer. The rest of the family speaks about me in past tense, like I died instead of Grandma. That works for me. I never left Atlanta. The rental income more than covers my mortgage. I hired a management company run by women who actually return calls. Vacancies dropped. Tenant satisfaction skyrocketed. Last quarter I closed on 2 more properties. Smaller deals, but 100% mine from day one. Not a single family member has tried to contact me directly. The last voicemail was Mom 2 months ago, crying, asking if I'd come for Christmas. I deleted it and blocked the number the same day. Some nights I sit on my balcony in Midtown, city lights glittering below, and think about the little girl who begged for math tutoring while her brother got new cleats. That little girl learned the world rewards the loudest voice. Until someone finally speaks with proof. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. The only thing that ever protected me was an old woman who saw the future clearly enough to put it in writing. And a promise I kept when it mattered most. I still have the fireproof folder on the top shelf of my closet. I don't open it often. I don't need to. The houses pay the bills. The tenants are happy. And my phone stays silent from anyone who once called themselves family. Grandma Margaret was right. Paper beats promises every single time. And some doors, once you close them, stay closed for good. If you've ever had to choose between the family you were born into and the peace you built yourself, see you. And I hope this story reminded you that sometimes the quiet one, the overlooked one, the one they thought they could erase, ends up holding all the cards. Karma doesn't always need to scream. Sometimes it just waits. With recorded deeds and a notary stamp. Some nights I sit on my Midtown balcony, city lights glittering below, and I still think about that little girl who begged for math tutoring while her brother got new cleats. She learned the world rewards the loudest voice. Until someone finally speaks with recorded deeds and a notary stamp. Blood doesn't buy loyalty. Paper does. Grandma Margaret was right. Paper beats promises every single time. And some doors, once you close them, stay closed for good.